my bathroom. My name's Brittany. I'm a real hairdresser, but today I'm gonna be showing you a super simple technique to retouch your highlights in your bathroom by yourself. If you're new here, I'm glad you're here. So make sure you subscribe and like. I post new cheap tricks for you every single week, twice a week, and don't forget to join me every Sunday for Sunday service. That's just where I do random things on a Sunday. It's basically a form of self-sabotage. You're gonna need a few things before we get started. I'll link all the products that I'm using in the description box below, but don't feel bad if you don't have some of these things or if you're using things from Sally's. That is absolutely fine. We are in the bathroom after all. You're gonna need some roots, a bowl and a brush. If you don't have an actual hair coloring bowl, you can use any kitchen bowl as long as it is not metal. If you don't have an actual color brush, no worries, just grab some sort of makeup brush. Maybe clean it first. If you don't have actual hairdressing foil, you can use aluminum foil from your kitchen and just cut it into little rectangles, kind of like this size. I'm gonna be going with highlighting wraps today because I'm a slob and these are easier for me to use without looking super messy. You'll need a rat tail comb or a wire comb. If you don't have one of these, a chopstick works really well. You're gonna need some color, lightener, whatever you're using to do your retouch. Typically for retouching highlights, you're gonna be using bleach or lightener. I'm going with Pravana because do you see this tub? I got a bunch of this stuff. It's good enough. This lightener doesn't do anything unless you pair it with developer. I'm gonna be using 20 volume developer because this is going to be a quick process. Let's mix this up. Typically with lightener, it's a 1:2 ratio, meaning if you do 1 ounce of powder lightener, you're gonna pair it with 2 ounces of developer. The easiest way for this to make sense is to grab some sort of measuring utensil from your kitchen. I've got a half a tablespoon here, TBSP, and I'm gonna scoop lightener. See? 1/2 tablespoon. Put it in your cereal bowl or whatever you're using. Now we're gonna do 2 of these with developer, making it a 1:2 ratio. You should have something that looks similar to this, and then you just want to mix this up. Now, if you're still a little bit lost on this process, I have a video that you can watch up here that explains it in a more in-depth way. Now we're gonna section off our hair. I'm just gonna be doing my actual part line today and my hairline, and that's it. This is enough to get me by until I have enough time to do my whole head, which is not today. So you'll wanna find the way you part your hair to the most. If you're unsure, you can just use the middle. I'm gonna go ahead and make a rectangle subsection. Should actually look something like this, with my part line being in the middle. You'll wanna go ahead and clip the rest of this back or put it in a pony. We don't wanna get confused and overwhelm ourselves. Are you ready? The most important step is to take a deep breath and give yourself some grace. We are in our bathrooms. We are doing this by ourselves. This may or may not be our first time, so we are going to be okay. If you mess up, don't be hard on yourself. It gets easier every time you do this. So to start, I'm going to take a very thin subsection, just slivering off a line. I'm gonna clip all of this back because again, we don't want to overwhelm ourselves. So we need to clip the hair back. Whoops, where'd you go? You should have something that looks like this. Now this is a really thin subsection. You should be able to see through this, read a newspaper through it, whatever. You should not have a super thick subsection. I'm gonna hold this really tight. I'm gonna take the comb or chopstick and I'm going to start weaving. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up. What's on top of my rat tail comb or chopstick, that's what I'm going to grab. Woo! And lay the bottom part down. The parts that are on top, that's what's going to be highlighted or retouched with color. Now, typically when you highlight hair with paper or foils, you're doing it this way, long ways. We're actually going to flip this because we're just focusing on the root. So we're going to lay our hair down and get it as close to the scalp as possible. We're gonna take a little bit of our color or lightener and we're going to drop it off. Now take your brush vertically and we're going to do this. That is called dry brushing, and that makes it have a staggered effect. We don't want a stark line. And I'm doing my best to not overlap my blonde here. I'm definitely staying away from the ends, but I am gonna kind of lightly kiss it because I do have a band of orange there that I'd like to get rid of. Now we're gonna take another paper or foil and lay it on top. Continuing on, we're going to take another thin subsection, one that you should read the newspaper through. Lay it down, make a correction if you can't draw a straight line like myself. Clip what we're not working with back. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Grab what's on top, taking our foil or paper, long ways, laying this down. And you can see that I'm going with a medium size weave. You can make these as chunky or as thin or small as you want. Obviously the smaller the more natural it looks, but I like to do mine in this medium chunky technique like such. Tugging it up, making sure it's as close to the scalp as possible. Holding this straight down, dropping off the product here. Taking our brush vertically and dry brushing the top. I'm lightly kissing this part because I have that little band of discoloration. Taking another foil or paper, placing it on top, and it'll stick to it. Another subsection, very thin. Now that I'm on the middle of my subsection for my part, I'm gonna start on this side with my horizontal subsection. It is a little bit more difficult to continue going this way because the foils will start to pool and they'll be looser. So you can kind of split your subsection in half, one side and one side. And I've got to mix up some more lightener. Another thing that I didn't mention was that you want to make sure that your lightener is pretty thin. So if you see that your lightener is a little bit runny, you'll want to add some more lightener powder to it. The lightener works off the natural heat from your scalp and it expands. This makes it start to liquefy a little bit more, and this is why sometimes you'll have those spots because your lightener dripped out of the foil. So the thicker it is, the less chances of mistakes that you're going to make. This is also another reason why you don't want to get too close to the end of the foil or paper because the lightener does expand, so you want to allow for that. So we have our subsection, horizontal, very thin, should be able to read a newspaper through it. Taking a rat tail comb or chopstick and weaving it, we're doing up, down, up, down, up, down, up, to your preference on how chunky or thin you would like them. That one's a little too chunky. Let's take a little bit down. Holding this tight. Putting our paper or foil as close to the scalp as possible. Taking our lightener, bleach, whatever you want to call it, dropping it off. Ooh, that's a little thin. I'm gonna have to add some powder. Turning our brush, dry brushing it so we can get as close to the scalp as possible without overextending the foil. We want to allow room for the lightener to puff and swell and expand. So we can't put it all the way to the line, or where's it gonna go? It's gonna leak out and give you a zebra stripe. Then you're gonna leave a nasty comment like it's my fault. Dry brush the ends lightly or the mid shaft to get some of that orange out. Put another foil or paper over, and we're gonna repeat this all the way till we get to the top. If you're having a hard time with the foil or paper kind of slipping off once you put it in, you can put a little dab of lightener here and then slip it in, and the hair will stick to that and help it stay without it kind of sliding around on you. And then secure this with a clip. Once you've completed your last foil, you want to go back and check your first foil and see what it looks like. Perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and spray the ones that are really blonde out to stop the processing while we wait for the other side to catch up. Sorry, this is dirty, but you just take a water bottle, spray it, take a rag or towel that you don't really care about, and just kind of wipe it out. Oh, you should be wearing gloves, by the way, because this bleach will really burn your fingertips off. I just don't have any right now. Ooh, that's gonna be nice. I can already tell from those few that I wiped out that it's going to have a yellow tint, so I'm going to need a toner. And that's absolutely normal, so don't freak out if you see that yours is orange or yellow. That's part of the process. The toner I'm using today is 9S because that's all I have. This is by Pravana and it's their liquid color. I like to use the liquid color for a toner because it spreads better. And we'll be mixing this with 10 volume because we're depositing only. 20, 30, and 40, lift color, 10 volume deposit. If this sounds like I'm speaking Spanish to you, I have a more in-depth video on toners that you can watch here. So let's go ahead and spray some of these out while we wait for the other ones to catch up. This one needs a little bit more time because you can see the brown coming through. So I'm gonna go ahead and go outside for a little bit because it's really sunny, and that will kind of help speed up the process, but you do want to be careful when using any kind of heat, either by a blow dryer or the sun, whatever, because that is also making the bleach swell and has a tendency to leak. So I'm only gonna go out there for about 5 minutes and then shampoo this out in the sink, throw the toner on, and then I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Be right back. We are done. So I just shampooed the top. I didn't run the toner through the ends, so it is a little mismatched, but it's super sexy. So when we dissect this, we can see we have a nice touch up without any zebra stripes, and it covers my side part. It also covers a middle part. Is that the middle? No. Middle part. There it goes. There it goes. Okay, so it covers the middle part. Why when I do these videos I always have like the worst bang day? I don't understand that. And I'm gonna put mine up because we're going swimming, y'all. So that way my highlights can turn green. Why not? Whew, feeling like a new woman. I always love a fresh highlight. All right, ladies, gentlemen, hays, and gays, that's it. If you try this, let me know. If you like this, let me know. Make sure that you subscribe so you can join me here twice a week, every week. And don't forget Sunday for Sunday service. I will see you next week for something cool. Something cool.